Finding a good gaming laptop under $600 can seem impossible, and while buying used or refurbished is often the easiest path, it's not your only option. If you're willing to keep your expectations realistic, you can even find brand new gaming laptops starting at around $500. In this video, we'll cover both new and used options, explain the strengths and compromises of each, and help you choose the one that offers the best value for your budget. Before we begin, there are two major compromises you need to make to get a laptop under $600. The first is you are buying old laptops with outdated hardware, meaning you are going to struggle with modern titles. Second, every laptop in this price range with a dedicated graphics card are notorious for shipping with just 8 GB of RAM. While that's enough to boot Windows 11 and handle basic everyday tasks, it simply isn't enough for modern gaming in 2026. A fresh Windows 11 installation alone uses around 4 GB of RAM while idle, leaving very little memory available for your games. The result is more stuttering, longer loading times, and frequent slowdowns, especially in newer AAA titles.
Unless you're only playing lightweight esports or older 2D games, upgrading to at least 16 GB of RAM should be your first priority after buying one of these laptops. Fortunately, most of the laptops on this list allow for a memory upgrade. With that in mind, after analyzing dozens of options, we've picked the 5 best gaming laptops you can buy for under $600. As always, we've included links to the exact configurations featured in this video in the description below, so be sure to check them out. With that said, let's dive into the list. We begin with a used gaming laptop that proves you don't need to spend a fortune to get a machine with dedicated graphics. We're talking about the Acer Nitro 5 from around 2017. While it may be nearly a decade old, it still packs enough hardware to handle plenty of modern games surprisingly well. Inside, you get an Intel Core i5-7300HQ, a true quad-core processor, paired with an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1050 Ti GPU with 4 GB of GDDR5 video RAM, 8 GB of upgradable RAM, and 256 GB of SSD. Best of all, you can often find this configuration for under $400, making it one of the cheapest gaming laptops with dedicated graphics you can buy. Despite its age, the GTX 1050 Ti is still a respectable entry-level GPU. It has no trouble running esports titles like Valorant, League of Legends, Counter-Strike 2, and Dota 2 at 1080p with medium to high settings while delivering smooth frame rates. Older AAA games such as GTA 5, The Witcher 3, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider are also very playable at around 50 to 60 FPS on medium settings. Even some newer titles can run at 720p on low settings with technologies like FSR enabled, although you'll have to accept lower visual quality and occasional frame drops. Outside of gaming, the Nitro 5 is still perfectly capable of handling everyday tasks like web browsing, Microsoft Office, media streaming, and even light photo editing. The SSD keeps Windows feeling responsive, although demanding workloads like video editing or 3D rendering will quickly expose the limitations of the older processor. Of course, there are more compromises. The included 8 GB of RAM is the biggest weakness. In 2026, it's simply not enough for modern gaming, so upgrading to 16 GB should be your first priority after buying one of these laptops. If your budget is extremely tight and your main goal is playing esports and older AAA games without spending much money, the Acer Nitro 5 remains one of the best value gaming laptops you can buy for under $400.
If you'd rather buy a brand new laptop than take a chance on a used one, and you're comfortable choosing a lesser-known brand instead of Lenovo, Asus, or Dell, then the NIMO N159 is well worth considering. The NIMO N159 is powered by the AMD Ryzen 7 7735HS, an 8-core, 16-thread processor paired with AMD's Radeon 680M integrated graphics, a 16 GB of dual-channel DDR5 RAM, and a 256 GB of SSD. Best of all, it regularly sells for well under $600, making it one of the most powerful new laptops you can buy in this price range. Compared to the used Acer Nitro 5, you're getting a huge leap in processor performance. The Ryzen 7 7735HS easily handles demanding productivity workloads, whether you're multitasking with dozens of browser tabs, coding, editing photos, or even working on 4K video projects. Unlike the Nitro, it also comes with 16 GB of fast DDR5 memory in dual-channel mode right out of the box, so there's no need for an immediate RAM upgrade.
For gaming, the Radeon 680M is one of the fastest integrated graphics solutions AMD has ever produced. Thanks to its RDNA 2 architecture and 12 compute units, it delivers performance that's often comparable to, and sometimes even better than the older GTX 1050 Ti in many modern games. Esports titles like Valorant, League of Legends, Dota 2, Rocket League, and Counter-Strike 2 run smoothly at 1080p, while more demanding AAA games are playable at low settings, especially when AMD's Fidelity FX Super Resolution, or FSR, is enabled to boost frame rates. It's impressive performance for a GPU that doesn't even have its own dedicated video memory. What you're really getting over the older Nitro 5 is a modern, warranty-backed laptop that excels in everyday use while still delivering surprisingly capable gaming performance. It boots faster, runs cooler, lasts longer on battery, and offers dramatically better CPU performance, making it a much more versatile machine overall. Of course, there are still compromises. Because the Radeon 680M is an integrated GPU, it shares system memory with the processor instead of having dedicated video memory. Even with 16 GB of RAM, memory bandwidth becomes the limiting factor in newer texture-heavy games, so it can't compete with modern dedicated graphics cards. The display is also a standard 60Hz panel, meaning competitive gamers won't get the smoother experience of a high refresh rate screen. If gaming is something you do occasionally rather than your primary focus, the NIMO N159 is one of the strongest new laptops available for under $600. Now, if you're willing to buy another used laptop because dedicated graphics still matter for a true gaming experience, our next pick takes a significant step forward. The laptop we're talking about is the 2021 Lenovo IdeaPad Gaming. It comes equipped with an AMD Ryzen 5 5600H, a 6-core, 12-thread processor, paired with an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1650 GPU with 4 GB of dedicated GDDR6 video RAM, 8 GB of upgradable RAM, a 256 GB of SSD, and a 15-inch Full HD display with a smooth 120 Hz refresh rate. You can regularly find this configuration on the used market for around $500, comfortably under our $600 budget. Compared to both the Acer Nitro 5 and the NIMO N159, the GTX 1650 is a noticeable step up. Depending on the game, it delivers roughly 30 to 50% more gaming performance than the GTX 1050 Ti, and comfortably outpaces the Radeon 680M integrated graphics. That extra horsepower lets you enjoy demanding titles like Cyberpunk 2077, Elden Ring, and Red Dead Redemption 2 at 1080p using low to medium settings while staying around the 60 FPS mark. Competitive games benefit even more. Titles like Valorant, Overwatch 2, Rainbow Six Siege, Apex Legends, and Counter-Strike 2 can easily take advantage of the 120 Hz display, delivering a much smoother and more responsive experience than the 60 Hz panels found on the previous laptops. Once you've played on a high refresh rate display, it's difficult to go back. Gaming isn't the only improvement. The Ryzen 5 5600H remains an excellent processor even today, easily handling programming, streaming, video editing, and heavy multitasking. Lenovo also delivers one of the best keyboards in this price range. The biggest compromise, however, is once again the memory. Like many budget gaming laptops, this model usually ships with only 8 GB of RAM, so upgrading to 16 GB should be your first priority. The 256 GB SSD is also quite limiting, so you'll probably want to upgrade the storage sooner rather than later. And because you're buying a used laptop, battery health will vary depending on how well the previous owner treated it. Realistically, this is the first laptop on our list that truly feels like a modern gaming laptop, only after that RAM upgrade. Next, we have something completely different, the Dell Precision 7530. Instead of being built for gamers, this is a professional mobile workstation, originally designed for engineers, architects, and content creators. Surprisingly, thanks to today's refurbished market, you can often find one for around $400, making it one of the best productivity bargains available. Inside, you'll find an Intel Core i7-8750H, a 6-core 12-thread processor, 16 GB of RAM, a generous 512 GB of SSD, and an NVIDIA Quadro P2000 with 4 GB of dedicated video RAM. Although the Quadro P2000 isn't marketed as a gaming GPU, it's based on the same Pascal architecture as the GTX 1050 Ti and delivers very similar gaming performance. Older AAA titles and esports games run comfortably at 1080p using low to medium settings, although newer games won't perform as well as they do on the GTX 1650 in the Lenovo. Where the Precision completely changes the game is productivity. Unlike the IdeaPad Gaming 3, you already get 16 GB of RAM and a spacious 512 GB of SSD out of the box, eliminating the need for immediate upgrades. The Core i7-8750H is still a very capable processor for programming, virtualization, CAD, 3D modeling, video editing, and heavy multitasking. On top of that, the Precision features a premium aluminum and magnesium chassis, one of Dell's excellent business-class keyboards, and a factory-calibrated 100% sRGB display, making it a fantastic choice for photo and video editing. The trade-off is gaming performance. The Quadro drivers are optimized for professional software rather than games, so while performance is similar to a GTX 1050 Ti, you lose the 30 to 50% gaming advantage offered by the GTX 1650. It's also a much larger and heavier laptop with a standard 60Hz display, and battery life is predictably poor. If you're an engineering student, programmer, architect, or creative professional who needs a powerful workstation first and a gaming laptop second, the Dell Precision 7530 is one of the best values you can buy under $600. Finally, if your only priority is getting the highest gaming performance possible for under $600, our final pick leaves everything else on this list behind. Meet the Dell G3 15 from 2019. Inside, it packs a 9th-gen Intel Core i5-9300H processor with 4 cores and 8 threads, 8 GB of upgradable RAM, a spacious 512 GB of PCIe SSD, and the real star of the show is an NVIDIA GeForce 1660 Ti with 6 GB of dedicated GDDR6 video RAM. Compared to every other laptop on this list, the 1660 Ti is in an entirely different league. It delivers roughly 50 to 60% more gaming performance than the GTX 1650 in Lenovo. This is a true 1080p gaming GPU, capable of running modern AAA titles at medium to high settings while maintaining smooth frame rates. Games like Cyberpunk 2077, Red Dead Redemption 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Forza Horizon 5, and Hogwarts Legacy are all comfortably playable at around 60 FPS with the right settings. The 6 GB of dedicated video RAM is another major advantage. Many newer games already struggle on 4 GB graphics cards because of larger texture packs, but the 1660 Ti has enough memory to handle higher quality textures without running into video RAM limitations as quickly, giving it far better long-term usability. And overall, it's the first laptop on this list that can genuinely deliver a high-quality AAA gaming experience without major compromises. Of course, there are still a few trade-offs. Just like the Lenovo IdeaPad Gaming 3, this model usually comes with only 8 GB of RAM, so upgrading to 16 GB should be considered mandatory. The chassis is mostly plastic and doesn't feel nearly as premium as the Dell Precision, and the cooling fans become quite loud during long gaming sessions, and the basic 60Hz display can't fully showcase the high frame rates that the 1660 Ti is capable of producing in competitive games. Battery life is also limited, so this is very much a laptop you'll want to keep plugged in whenever you're gaming. With that simple RAM upgrade, though, the Dell G3 becomes one of the most capable gaming laptops you can buy for under $600. Even in 2026, it can comfortably handle the vast majority of modern games and still compete with many brand new budget gaming laptops costing significantly more. And that wraps up our top 5 picks for the best gaming laptops under $600. Whether you choose a brand new machine with powerful integrated graphics or a used laptop with a dedicated GPU, one piece of advice applies to almost every option on this list. If it comes with only 8 GB of RAM, upgrade it to 16 GB as soon as possible. It's the single biggest performance improvement you can make and will dramatically improve your gaming experience. As always, we've included links to the exact configurations featured in this video down in the description below, so be sure to check them out for the latest prices and availability. If you found this guide helpful, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one.